So my name's Catherine Lewis and I'm Operations Manager at Alström Syndrome UK. We're a small national charity at Alström Syndrome UK, and we support individuals and families and young people with a very rare condition called Alström syndrome, which can affect all the organs in the body, including sight and hearing. And today I'm joined by the wonderful Melissa, who is part of our support service, and she's going to tell us a bit more about the wellbeing service that she offers. So Melissa, would you like to tell us a bit about yourself and the service that you offer?
I will do. Thank you so much, Catherine. Thank you for having me today. And as Catherine said, I'm the wellbeing coordinator for Alström UK. I'm also a person with the lived experience of Alström, and the wellbeing service is really a service that was born from the answer of what our service users and what our families wanted. And really the essence of my job, it is just that, it's looking after people's well-being. So that involves a lot of conversations with people, finding out how they are. We do problem solving together, working through people's situations and some issues that they may face. We have small group discussions. I'm doing a Welcome to Wellbeing series, which is really interesting and exciting. And it tells you about some of mental health conditions and also some coping strategies and techniques, whilst putting people with Alström syndrome and their families at the heart. I also, in my wellbeing role, I've come up with some guides and resources to help people understand more about sight loss aids and equipment. And the role of wellbeing, it encompasses all parts of life, and it's an organic role that kind of grows day by day.
Great, that sounds great, Melissa. And what got you into this role?
So I started my Alström journey in 2018. It was the first time I'd ever heard of Alström syndrome when I was around 26 years old. And as I was going through the genetic testing process, I started to sort of delve into what is Alström syndrome, and I started to talk to people from Alström UK who told me about the condition and invited me onto the board of trustees. And it was through being a trustee that I got to learn about the condition. I got to learn about what Alström UK offers to its families. And I think that we did some really brilliant work looking at our physical health. But I kind of wondered whether our families would like to see some support on the wellbeing side and on the sort of psychological mental health side. So I put together a survey for our families, and I did some interviews to find out whether they would like to see a wellbeing service and what they actually knew about wellbeing. And the service has grown from there. It was really amazing to read all of your fantastic and insightful responses, and it gave me a real idea of what people either with the syndrome or people who supported people with the syndrome really wanted to see from an emotional support service. And some of the things that they wanted, I think there was like a real need for bringing us together and having some of those conversations. I think with a rare condition like Alström syndrome, you can feel like you're really alone. And I know when I was starting my journey, I felt really alone and really isolated. And it was only through the connections that I made through Alström UK that I actually felt like part of a community for the first time. And I wanted to see how people felt really, and I wanted to provide some support for living with a rare condition. And my training has always been in the social field, so I'm a qualified social worker and also a qualified counsellor or therapist. So my interest has always been people, and I think when I got involved with Alström Syndrome UK, it really made me think, how can I support people? How can some of the feelings that I've navigated through on this journey so far, how can I support people on their journey?
Yeah, thank you, Melissa. I really hear your passion coming across, that you had all these skills all built up in your background and your work experience that you did, and then bringing that and your lived experience across to the Alström community. Sounds like the two have really come together. And I think one thing that I'm really proud of at ASUK is that we don't just offer services and support and what we think families and individuals need. We listen to what families and individuals are telling us. So we often do surveys, and we do lots of experts by experience groups where we really do listen to the experiences of the people that use our services, to really listen to what they need, what they want, so that we can provide those services for our community. And I really do hear that passion coming back from you, that we're all listening and really providing a fantastic resource and service that our community, can really thrive. So what's one of your, I want to know a little bit more about you. So what's one of your sort of favourite memories of working with ASUK? Because you haven't worked with ASUK for long, have you?
No, it's just coming up to 10 months actually, and I kind of like that time's really flown by. And it's really hard to pick like just one memory. I think like the thing that I've absolutely loved working with ASUK is the togetherness, and I think that's something that's so important, where like everyone's such a valued part of the team. So the things that my sort of favourite memories are things that have like really brought us together. So the conference was lovely for like some people that I'd only ever seen behind a screen, to actually like meet them in the flesh. And it sounds a bit soppy, but like actually giving some of those people like a hug. But like the first hug was like that was actually really nice. And like you know everyone so well, but sometimes it's meeting the real people behind the screen that I really enjoyed. And I think like another standout moment for me was being able to go over to America and sort of tell them a little bit about the wellbeing service that we wanted to offer in the UK, and getting to meet some of the families from all over the world. I don't know if it's a good memory or an embarrassing memory, but one of the things they laid on, especially because they had people from the UK, was roast beef, and it's one of my things that I would never ever eat. And kind of like feeling that I had to have this roast beef because they were like told me that because I was British I'd like it, and I was like, should I should I say like no, it's horrible. The issue was they didn't have gravy. And I was like, we do have roast beef. Their gravy, they did say, they were like, well, we do have gravy, but theirs was a white sauce. And not gravy. I'm sorry. I'm like proudly northern and proudly a gravy. Like gravy is my thing. I love it. So much so that like when we have a Sunday dinner, I wait for everyone to leave and then like drink it from the jug.
I'm on your page completely.
So I was like, this white sauce, it's nice, but I'm not having it with my roast beef. It was lovely that they tried to be so inclusive. But I felt mean. I couldn't eat it. I did eat a bit, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't commit to the white sauce.
Oh wow. And do I dare ask if there was Yorkshire puddings, or was that a completely, I can imagine that probably confused.
It did. I was just like, it's just such a state. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it, to think of like what views they have of us, but I'm like, no, if you'd have had a Yorkshire pudding, I could have put the beef inside and then put the gravy in, and it would have been fine. So,
crikey.
It was somebody from the States, because I'm in touch with a lot of people from the States. Somebody asked me what a sausage roll was the other day, and it's weird because you're like, it's a
how
staple.
Do you? Yes.
I was like, it just is, but like, I don't know if they would know from my description, but I feel like I did it justice.
There's lots of things actually that we probably would find quite difficult to describe. Even when you think of like a Yorkshire pudding, when you think of it as like a pudding, you think, what? Like how? Yes, I'm sure there's loads, isn't there? So while we're on that subject, what would you say what is your favourite go-to food then?
Ooh, see, this is tricky, and I have like food. I have food I suppose obsessions is the best word.
Okay.
So my thing for a long time was Chinese noodles with like pork and steak, and now there were like king prawns, but I would always give the king prawns to my dog. And you'd have to be like, look, it's a massive prawn, you can eat it. But I went off it because they started putting duck in it, and I don't like duck, so the dogs were very lucky. But I'm like, but like probably that was my go-to for ages. And then like I do, like I said, gravy and vinegar. I'm a bit like, me and my friend were saying we would much rather go around chip shops and just try all the gravy. Not the chips, but just the gravy, like a little dash of vinegar, just to see what the best combos would be. So I think it's that. But I like I'm not very, I say floofy, you know, for like posh food. I'm not very floofy. I just like normal stuff. I'm probably like more sweet than savoury. Well, I was more sweet than savoury, but I mean, we have to be healthy, so
I know. That's Alstrom condition can it's difficult, isn't it? It's trying to balance the two.
It is, because I would always much rather have pudding than anything. I could like live off pudding before I got like my health, you know. But you can still enjoy sweet things. It's just learning it, like moderation, and learning different switches and stuff. So it's doable. But I think like
completely. And there is now, I think there's a whole world online now that of people, particularly COVID as well, I think took us forward so many years forward in the online presence. And I think so many people now have looked at more healthier dessert, which taste good but are a lot more healthier for us. And I know you did a lot of recipes for us, didn't you, which are on the website, which I can put a link to, which, you know, were fantastic. So tell us a few things about yourself that we might not know.
So I recently qualified as a meditation coach. So I like to do meditation's part of my daily life, because I like to learn things that aren't just going to benefit people I work with. Everything that I suggest to people I work with, I've tried, and even if I haven't got on with that particular method, I feel like you have to know what it is you're sharing. You can't just like, do this, it works. So like my meditation is something that I qualified in last summer, and it's really transformed my life. It's cheap, it doesn't cost anything, to be fair. You know, you can do it wherever you are, so you don't need any equipment, you just need yourself. So that's been really transformative for me over like the last 6 months. I love cooking. One of my weird things is my favorite thing to cook would be like a curry, but I wouldn't eat it. So and my family stopped getting Indian takeaways, which I was gutted about, because they're like, no, you have to make us the curry, we don't want to buy it. I was like, oh, that's really sad. So I love cooking. I love doing things that are creative. And in the lockdown, I started writing a musical, although I cannot sing. My dogs howl when I sing, whether it's because they think there's a kindred spirit and it's a howl off, or whether they're trying to drown me out, I do not know. But I'm not the best singer, but I do enjoy it, and I love writing my own songs, and like my musical's like 10 songs deep now.
Wow.
And I just like doing things. I think like if you don't do anything with your energy, then it kind of, it's if you don't do anything with your energy, then it just stays inside you, and it causes like life to stagnate. So in lockdown, when I wasn't doing as much, I'd started writing a song like a week, or, you know, I had like time limits for myself so that my mind kept active. One of my other things that I love to do, and I will show you these, is I like to collect pigs. Pigs are my favorite animal.
Oh, they're very cute. Very cute.
I've got like this, the one on the right, I think, is it's jade green, and then the one on the left is black onyx. So I like my crystals as well. Like my room has loads of different crystals. But my pigs, I have to show you. These aren't all of my pigs because I couldn't fit them all here. But this is another pig. This has got a baby, so this is made, it's knitted, this one.
Love that.
And then this one is, I think, this is like a clear, this one has a baby as well. A lot of them come in twos, my pigs. So
okay.
But I like pigs because I think people look at them and they just think, oh, you're a fat pig, or like you can make me a sausage or some bacon. And like actually pigs are more intelligent than dogs. Like you can train them easier than you could train a dog. And they're like really loyal. Once a pig finds a mate, they mate for life. So I like what the pig stands for. And like my grandma, bless her, when I was 18, she was like, what do you want for your birthday? And I was like, a pig. So she was going to get me a pig because, you know, you go to grandma for what you want, not what you're allowed. Yeah. And she looked into it, and apparently you can't keep livestock in my garden, which I think is very sad. So she bought me a little pig statue that's called Rasha, and that was my first pig, because she said you can't have one, and I want to get you what you want, so this is the closest I could get to what you wanted. And then I collect them every time. Like if I go on holiday, I'll look for a pig statue. So I've got pigs in amber, I've got purple pigs, pink pigs, black. I have them all. Like I love collecting them. They're my little secret thing. But I don't think people would often think like pigs your favourite animal.
No. So how many do you reckon you've got then?
Ooh,
I've got to estimate it.
So I reckon I've probably got about 20, but then I've also got a couple of pig pillows, and for Christmas I got some pig flip-flops, and I also got some pig slippers which have got a little curly tail on the back, which is
that's brilliant,
which are lovely, but the dogs are like, ooh, toy, so they think the slippers are toys, so we can only wear them on very special occasions.
I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. But no, they sound fantastic. That's definitely something that I don't think we would have thought of you at all. So what's your, thinking back to the Wellbeing Service, what's your kind of aspirations for the service? What would you like to think of it going forward?
I think for me, really, the sky's the limit. Like, what's really important, I mean, I'd say for me, but I think it's really important to, like, everyone I work with at ASUK, is that our families are at the front and centre of anything that this service becomes. So I know it sounds like a cop-out answer, but I kind of have the headspace where the Wellbeing Service can kind of be as big as our families want it to be. Like, I ideally would love to have like an international reach where we work with families across the world, and we are starting to work with families in different countries, providing them with emotional support and also, you know, some ways to navigate some parts of the condition. So, but really I want people to, I suppose my biggest thing is I want people to feel like they can tell me what they want and what they expect from a wellbeing service, because I think talking is so important. I think sometimes our thoughts can be really big and really scary. And like when we keep them in our head, they have control over us. So what I'd like is for us all to have more control over our like thoughts, feelings and emotions, and people to be able to say, I'd like a webinar on this, or can we have a conversation about that, or can you just do, I'm working on a guide about resilience at the moment, and so many people have answered questions for me about like, how do you keep positive, how do you keep happy, and it's been amazing to read all those responses. So I think I'd like it to grow as wide and as big as our families and people with Ulstrom want it to be. And I think this has been the brilliant thing, and the thing that I've been the most grateful for in the Wellbeing Service is nobody's put any parameters on it. Nobody said like, you have to deliver this, you must do that. Like it can be whatever the Ulstrom community needs. And I love the fact that it's not, you know, this service doesn't work on a one size fits all. It's so whatever you need at the time that you need it. And I think that's the thing that I love about it the most. So I think what do I want for the future? I want it to be what it is, and I want people to feel like this is a place they can come to be their authentic selves. And it's not a service where I would say I'm going to make you happy every day, because that's unrealistic. But I want it to be a place where people can bring who they are in that moment, and we work with that, and we provide you with whatever it is you need to flourish and make those steps forward.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Melissa. I think it is. It's about trusting us sometimes, isn't it? It's about trusting the people who are supporting you and having that time, that listening ear to be able to have that time to give to people. And we, you know, are also doing sort of some of the webinars and the international work and trying to bring that sort of global community together as well, which is fantastic. So I'm sure it will be, you know, great going forward. Thank you ever so much, Melissa, for joining me today. And we've got some more of these vodcasts coming up, which are just like little mini sessions into our team and finding out a little bit more about them, about the services we offer, about the roles that are here at Alström Syndrome UK, and finding out a little bit more about our team and some of the things that you might not know about them as well. So thank you, Melissa, for joining me today. Don't forget to check out our website, www.alström.org.uk, where you can find a wealth of information about the charity, about the condition, about the Wellbeing Project, and don't forget to check out those recipes that we were talking about earlier.